Welcome back, everyone, to the Deep Dive. This time, we're taking a close look at the AI landscape, specifically Grok 3 and ChatGPT Turbo.
Yeah, those are the big names right now, huh?
Definitely. And, with all the buzz, it could be hard to know which one is actually right for you. So we've got some great sources here ready to break it all down.
Let's do it.
All right. First up, let's imagine you're a researcher right here. You need to stay on top of the latest findings. Well, one of our articles highlights Grok 3 and its speed. We're talking analyzing like 90 research sources in under a minute.
Wow, under a minute. That's insane.
It's because of its connection to, the real-time web and X.
Yeah.
So think about tracking something that's constantly changing, like a virus outbreak. Grok 3 could be a game changer.
I see. So it's all about those quick insights. But what about when you need to really dive deep into a topic, say for a research paper or a legal document? That's where ChatGPT Turbo shines, right?
Exactly. ChatGPT Turbo is the tool for crafting those well-structured arguments. It's got a knack for remembering complex information and putting it all together logically.
Yeah, it's more like the marathon runner compared to Grok 3's sprint.
That's a good analogy. So think about your research style. Are you skimming the surface or digging deep?
Good question. Now, compliance is another area where these tools differ. One article even described Grok 3 as, transparent and unfiltered, which is interesting, but could also be risky.
Especially in industries with tons of regulations, finance, healthcare, things like that.
Right, exactly. That's where ChatGPT Turbo's focus on safety comes in. It's got those guardrails in place to avoid any, potentially risky move.
Makes you think about what's more important for your work, doesn't it? Flexibility or sticking strictly to the rules.
Totally. Now, another big one, financial analysis. I've seen a lot about Grok 3 in this area.
It's making waves, for sure. Imagine you're a day trader. You need to know what's happening right now. Well, Grok 3 is like having a direct line to the market, analyzing news, social media sentiment, you name it.
Real-time insights, that's the key. But what about deeper analysis, like those detailed reports or risk assessments?
That's where ChatGPT Turbo steps in again. While it might not be as speedy, it's got that structure and reliability that's crucial for complex financial stuff.
I get it. It's like Grok 3 is the pulse and ChatGPT Turbo is the full checkup.
Perfect way to put it. So, are you a fast-paced trader or a deep dive analyst?
Good question. And finally, let's not forget content creation. It seems everyone's using AI for that these days.
And both Grok 3 and ChatGPT Turbo have jumped into the game, but in different ways. One source talked about Grok 3 creating those catchy social media posts, the ones that go viral.
So it's writing those trends.
Exactly. Plus, with its connection to X, it can even, inject a bit of humor into its content.
I can see it. But what about longer stuff? Blog posts, scripts, that sort of thing?
Well, that's ChatGPT Turbo's domain. Its writing quality is seriously impressive. It produces content that reads, well, like a human wrote it. Plus, it can even create images with DLE, which is pretty cool.
So it's like Grok 3 is the quick-witted social media guru, and ChatGPT Turbo is the novelist crafting a masterpiece.
Exactly. So when you're thinking about your content needs, ask yourself, do you need a quick quip or a well-crafted story?
This is really showing that there's no one-size-fits-all answer in the AI world.
Absolutely. And that's what we've seen so far, right? Grok 3 and ChatGPT Turbo both have their strengths. The key is finding the tool that fits your way of working, your goals.
100% agree. It's like you can almost see the personalities of the companies, in these AI tools.
Well, interesting. How so?
Well, take XAI, right? Elon Musk's company, they're all about pushing limits, moving fast.
Yeah, they're definitely not afraid to shake things up.
Exactly. And Grok 3 kind of reflects that. It's got that real-time data, it's bold, it's unfiltered.
And then you've got OpenAI, which is, well, maybe a bit more cautious.
Yeah, they're big on safety and ethics, which you definitely see in ChatGPT Turbo. It's all about structure, reliability.
So it's almost like you're not just picking a tool, you're picking a philosophy too.
Right. It's deeper than just features. Now let's talk about learning, how these tools adapt. One source mentioned Grok 3's focus on real-time learning, always taking in new info from the web, from X.
So it's constantly evolving.
Yeah, like a research assistant who never stops reading, always bringing you the latest. ChatGPT Turbo, though, it's more about refining its understanding of language, through this structured approach.
Kind of like traditional learning then.
Exactly. Lessons, feedback, the whole deal. It helps ChatGPT Turbo give those polished, consistent answers.
So Grok 3 is like the eager student, always on top of the latest trends. And ChatGPT Turbo is the one mastering the fundamentals.
And both are important, right? It depends what you need. But the big thing is they're both always learning. AI never sits still.
It's kind of mind-blowing how fast it's all moving.
It is, isn't it? Like watching something grow up right in front of you.
And speaking of growing, let's think about AI's potential, like in healthcare.
Oh, yeah, there's so much happening there. Imagine AI diagnosing illnesses, personalizing treatments. Exactly. Or in education, tailored learning for each student, freeing up teachers to focus on mentoring.
The possibilities are endless, really. Even creative fields, music, art, even films made with AI.
It's incredible. But with all this potential, we have to be realistic, right? There are challenges too.
Absolutely. Like bias, for instance. One of our articles talked about that.
Yeah, if the data used to train these systems is biased, the AI can become biased too. And that's dangerous.
We have to be careful about that.
Yeah.
And of course, there's the impact on jobs.
That's a big one. As AI gets better, it can do more tasks that humans used to do.
So what do we do? Just like sit back and watch it happen?
Not at all. We need to adapt, learn new skills, focus on things AI can't do.
It's all about finding that balance, right? Using AI to empower us, not replace us.
And that's what it comes down to, I think. Not fearing AI, but shaping it, making sure it's used for good.
Which brings us back to Grok 3 and ChatGPT Turbo, right?
Yeah.
Two different approaches, two different paths for AI.
And as we've seen, neither one is inherently better. It's about what works for you, what aligned with your values.
This whole conversation has been so eye-opening. It's clear these tools are going to change things in a big way.
They already are. But the big question is, how will we shape that change?
It feels like we're on the edge of something huge with AI.
Yeah, definitely. It's not just like a cool toy anymore, you know?
Right. We're starting to see the real impact.
Yeah.
And that brings up something you said earlier. It's not about fearing AI. It's about shaping it. But like, how much control do we really have as users?
That's a great question. I think we actually have more power than we realize.
Okay, I'm listening. How so?
First off, just being aware, right? Like we're doing now. Learning about these tools, understanding their strengths and weaknesses.
Knowledge is key, for sure. But it's more than just the tech itself, isn't it?
Exactly. It's about talking about it, having these conversations, asking those tough questions about bias, about ethics, about how it affects society.
And if we don't like what we see, we can speak up, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We can choose not to use certain tools, not to support certain companies.
You have that power.
We do. It's our data, our choices. And don't forget about education, too, making sure people have the skills to thrive in this new world.
Adapting, learning, working with AI, not against it.
Exactly. It's about collaboration. We're all in this together, figuring out the future of AI.
So, to wrap up our deep dive today, we've looked at Grok 3 and ChatGPT Turbo, these two powerful AI tools. We've seen what they can do, how they learn, the good and the bad.
And the bottom line is there's no clear winner, right? It all comes down to your needs, what you value.
And remembering that we, the users, have a voice in this. It's up to us to learn, to question, and to make choices that shape the future of AI.
Couldn't have said it better myself. The future is in our hands. Let's make it a good one.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. It's been a fascinating journey.
Until next time, keep exploring, stay curious. The world of AI is just getting started.